All right, we are back with a NXT review. First time review of NXT. This latest episode from February 4th, 2025. So I'm going to be going over what happened in this episode. NXT has been on a roll as of late, and I feel like watching this show, there's definitely a resurgence taking place. And I'm liking the structure of the shows each and every week because I do happen to take a peek at NXT on YouTube. I watch some clips here and there and I see what transpires. I can't watch all the clips. I watch the ones that are probably the most important ones. But watching this show tonight, starting off with Stephanie Baker, the care, however you say her last name, she takes on JC Jane, okay, who calls herself the rock star of NXT. And so I was really impressed with this match. I was not expecting this match to be good. When I watched JC Jane, for some reason, I don't get the impression that she's good in the ring until she actually wrestles in the ring. And look, man, this woman can go. I already done know Stephanie Baker can go. But definitely, man, she is very, very good. And one thing about JC Jane is she has shown a lot of improvements inside the ring. And she held her own against Stephanie Baker. And this was a very good match between both these ladies. Stephanie Baker has a certain confidence about herself. I see her being taken very seriously on the main roster, whether she goes to Raw or SmackDown. I can definitely envision seeing her become NXT Women's Champion in the future. I already don't know she's going to win the North American Championship. But in due time, she's going to be the one to defeat Julia for the Women's NXT Championship. But once she goes to Raw and SmackDown, look, the ceiling is unlimited for her. And she's going to do very well competing against the likes of Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, Tiffany Stratton, Bayley. Like, she's going to do very well. I can see her being a very successful lady on the main roster and having a very good transition. She just has a star presence about herself that I recognize instantly, and she already has that it factor. So this was a 7 out of 10 match. Very, very good stuff. And, Stephanie Baker, she picked up the win with a tiger feint kick, then hit a springboard cross body. And then that's how she got the win. Oh, no, my bad. She actually hit I think a tiger backbreaker or something. And then that's how she got the finish. I think she calls it the SBB. So, moving on, we see in the locker room, Zarya talk some trash at Lash Legend for failing to eliminate anyone in the Rumble and also not taking the tag titles back to NXT. And Lash says she's talking big for somebody who spent the weekend at home. And Tatum Paxley steps in and she says it's easy to talk. And Gigi Dolan agrees that Zarya has an attitude problem. We go to the break. And then back from a commercial, they pretty much hype up Roxanne Perez's record-setting Royal Rumble performance, which is awesome. And that's a highlight of her career, no doubt. And that woman lasted over 1 hour and 7 minutes, the longest record in a Royal Rumble. Next, we got Lexis King. He's in the ring cutting a promo. And, he obviously just won the NXT Heritage Cup. He's now holding that trophy, that cup, and he basically wants to change the rules. There's no longer going to be rounds to these matches anymore. It's only going to be one fall, and that's it. And so Lexus King is talking about how he doesn't want to be linked to his father, to his legacy. He wants to be separated from his father's legacy, carve out his own path. Basically, that's what he's saying, that he didn't know his father and he wants to be his own man, basically. He went on to say he was born into this business, calling himself the son of a psycho. And, he tried everything he could to be everything but his father, saying he never knew him, didn't know who he was. And so, Lexus King is still talking, and, there's not going to be any more rules, no time limits, no rounds to the NXT Heritage Cup. And then while he's talking, here comes Fandango. And I was not expecting this. I wasn't expecting Fandango to come out and interrupt. Now, I don't know what he's called in TNA, but he's called something. I didn't really catch hold of what he's called in TNA. Or actually, no, I actually have it right here. He said he calls himself GDC. And he basically represents the system for TNA wrestling. And he says that the system is always looking for a little gold, and he wouldn't mind wrapping his lips around that cup and having a drink. He knows NXT and TNA have a working agreement, but what he doesn't know is that he just spoke to Ava and got himself a Heritage Cup match for next week. So, yeah, they book a match with Lexus King and Fandango for the Heritage Cup. Lexus King is definitely winning that match. He just won it. It wouldn't make sense for him to drop it so soon to someone from TNA. Cool to see Fandango back. He still has his, his chant going on, his little popularity and stuff. Next, we see the family backstage. Tony D'Angelo, the D'Angelo family, and Stack says he's just breaking balls, and the Don tells him to focus on breaking Ridge Holland. And we go to the ring. We get Channing Stacks versus Ridge Holland. What did I think of this match? Well, this match was okay. Stacks showed some progress in the ring. Ridge Holland has really good intensity. He's been showing a lot of improvement in his character, and I think him going to NXT was actually a benefit for him. And so basically the finish of the match is Izzy Dame gets in the ring and leaves, and the distraction is enough for Lorenzo to get two off a schoolboy. Then Holland hits a big lariat, and then he hits Lorenzo with the Redeemer, the package DDT, and gets a pinfall. And then we go to next, we get Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley taking on Sol Ruka and Zarya. And so Sol Ruka and Zarya get the win by pinfall. But Sol Ruka hitting perhaps one of the greatest, most innovative finishers in wrestling today. She hits the finisher and gets the win on Gigi Dolan. And I gotta say, man, I just want to take a minute and say Sol Ruka has a very good look. She is going to be huge on Raw and SmackDown. I don't really see her winning the NXT Women's Championship. I think she's one of those ladies, those talents that's going to bypass the NXT Women's Championship. And within a year, she'll be on Raw or SmackDown. She is going to do big things. I'm calling it right now because her athleticism is insane. And her finisher is one of the best finishers in the business, hands down. That upside down coming from the top rope into a cutter. That's a thing of beauty, bro. That finisher is a thing of beauty. And I can see her winning the women's IC champion, winning either of the mid-card titles for the women on Raw or SmackDown. And I can definitely see her becoming a women's world champion in the future. So she's definitely going to be huge. Zarya, she's impressive looking, no doubt. I can see her matching up well with Rhea Ripley in the future. She gets called up to the main roster. That's an instant feud, instant opponent for Rhea Ripley. No doubt in my mind. So they get the win over Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. And next we get Bayley making her entrance, followed shortly by Roxanne Perez. But before Julia can be announced, Perez wants to talk about how great she was in the Royal Rumble. And Julia can wait because this is about the two of them. Now, Bayley points out she did not win. Roxanne says she did eliminate Julia, though, and says that Bayley is only coming back to NXT to throw her weight around in the best women's division in wrestling. But after the Rumble, she gets it because she wants all the titles. And Bayley tells her she still doesn't get it. She built the ring here. Dusty Rhodes taught her how to hold a microphone. And Roxanne has no respect for any of that. When she lost the title, she lost her mind. But Bayley pushes through on all fronts, which is why she's going to qualify for the Chamber and go to WrestleMania. And so while Roxanne throws her hissy fit, she might just lose her best friend too, Bayley goes on to say. And if she doesn't win the NXT title at Vengeance Day, she'll be just fine, meaning Bayley. But will Perez, though, is the question. Roxanne then tells Bayley she doesn't get it at all because when it comes to that title, she has no friends, mentors, or equals. So she can keep talking because she's going to pick up the win. And while she's still talking, here comes the NXT Women's Champion, Julia. And Julia says she's had enough. She tells Roxanne that she's nothing without a title and that she's gonna beat Bayley too, and none of them will survive the beautiful madness. And here comes everyone's favorite female wrestler in the entire world. Miss Charlotte Flair comes out next. And she tells NXT that Mama has come home. She asks everyone if they remember the last time she won the Rumble and won the NXT Championship for the second time. And she goes on to put Roxanne over, that she was impressed with her Royal Rumble performance. And if she's a champion come WrestleMania, she'll be runner-up again. She tells Julia that the hype is real and she respects her. And yes, this is the greatest women's division in the world, but she's better. Then out of nowhere, Cora Jade shows up with a candlestick and takes out Julia and Bayley with the candlestick. Roxanne begs off. She begs Cora Jade not to take a swing at her, but Cora Jade anyway takes a swing at her, and she's only saved by being fast enough to run away. She swats at Julia and Bayley away for good measure. So that tells me that they can make this a fatal four-way for the NXT Women's Championship at Vengeance Day, which I wouldn't mind at all. I would just put her in it. I mean, at this point, I don't think she would win the title, but I think putting her in that match would cause issues between her and Roxanne Perez. And we have Ava in backstage in her office with security keeping Ethan Page and Javon Evans apart. And basically, she makes a match official between Ethan Page and Javon Evans at Vengeance Day. Up next, we get Carmen Petrovic versus Kalani Jordan. So we get another women's match. This is about like a third women's match of the night. So this was a decent match. I like the heel tendencies that Kalani Jordan is showing. And there's some story, some background to this match with Carmen and Ashanti the Adonis and their little love relationship on screen. And, we come back from commercial. Jada Parker has joined the commentary desk, Miss Parker. And then Kalani and Carmen, they go back and forth. And hits a Olympic slam from Kalani, sets it up. She hits a split leg moonsault, and then she hits it twice, and then locks in the cross face chicken wing, and that's enough to make Carmen tap out. Now post match, Jordan immediately locks the hold back on. The referee have to break it up, and the referee reverses the decision. So Carmen Carmen Petrovic would win by disqualification. And so, yeah, we're definitely seeing an attitude change in Kalani Jordan, a new attitude, more aggression, and it looks to me that they're setting up a mini feud with her and Jada Parker. And Jada Parker is still on screen on TV doing her thing. I think Jada Parker, to me, even though she wasn't wrestling tonight, to me, she has more personality in the women's division. When I look at that women's division, and I saw a lot of women, and to me, from a personality standpoint, Jada Parker stands out to me the most. From an in-ring perspective, Stephanie Baker stands out more. She's definitely the better wrestler of the division, in my opinion. Julia may be her equal and Roxanne Perez, but she'll be out of NXT sooner or later. But this women's division, man, is stacked. And I don't think you can argue that NXT has the best women's division right now in wrestling. That's why a lot of these women are getting TV time every single week. They have a chance to build and really develop and hone their character and put on decent matches and tell stories. So there's definitely versatility and different flavors, different flavors of all these beautiful women on TV every week. And so just want to take a moment to put over the women's division. We get back from commercial. Bayley storms in Ava's office to demand a match against Cora Jade. And up in next week, we get Bayley taking on Cora Jade for next week. And then we get our main event, which is A Town Down Under, Austin Theory, Grayson Waller versus Obafemi and Trick Williams. So the match for Vengeance Day is a triple threat between Oba, Theory, and Grayson Waller. Now, I'm just going to throw out this prediction. I think this is where they set up more tension and dissension among Theory and Waller. Because for a while, they've been teasing Austin Theory and Grayson Waller breaking up as a tag team with telling the story that Grayson Waller is holding back Austin Theory. He's using Austin Theory to get ahead in his career. And so I think with this NXT Championship triple threat at Vengeance Day, that story is really going to take to a whole different level. And we're definitely going to see the beginning of the end with Theory and Waller as a tag team. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be on Monday Night Raw going forward. So going forward, I expect Grayson Waller to show some betrayal and to turn on Austin Theory. Either that or Austin Theory will get sick and tired of Waller first and turn on him. But that should definitely take place on Raw. And Vengeance Day would definitely set up that betrayal because it's every man for himself when it comes to that NXT championship. So that's definitely the perfect place to tell that story and to break up that tag team. So on to this main event. I thought this main event was decent. We see Trick Williams. He ducks a lariat from Grayson Waller, hits a pump kick. Theory breaks it up, and then Eddie Thorpe, he interferes and he helps A-Town Down Under get the pinfall. He had hit Trick Williams with a strap from the back, and then that allowed Grayson Waller to get the pinfall. Okay, and then A-Town Down Under, not A-Town Down Under, but post match, Eddie brandishes the leather strap and stare downs Obathemi down. He stares him down. He starts hitting Trick with the strap, beats him down with it, whips him. He basically whooped that Trick. But the champion takes his leave, so Eddie keeps attacking Trick with it. And then after the show goes off the air with the color bars, and this time we get an image of 4 people standing in the shadows briefly. So, yeah, that was a interesting way to end off the show. And I'm wondering who the 4 mystery people are standing in the shadows. That could be a new faction for NXT. They played that whole little color bars vignette a couple times throughout the show. So it seems to me that before Trick Williams faces Oba again for the NXT Championship, he's going to be feuding with Eddie Thorpe, which is cool. That's good. That'll keep Trick Williams busy for a while, and it definitely puts Eddie Thorpe into the conversation too. Again, he's not just pushed back to the card. He's been getting some good TV time lately and some development in his character, ever since he accidentally pushed the door into Ava's face. And so he's been in the conversation since. But I expect Trick to win that feud and go on to face Oba at Stand and Deliver. Now, what do I think of Eddie Thorpe? To be honest, I need to see more of him in order to have a wider opinion of him, of his ability. I'm not really impressed with his physique, to say the least. I think he could work a little bit harder on his physique. And like I said, I got to watch him a little bit longer, to see if he's good or not. But definitely the stars of this show were Trick Williams, Obathemi, Charlotte came back in NXT. Stephanie Baker is awesome. Was impressed with the stuff of Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker. Rich Holland, he's definitely showed some improvement ever since he came back to NXT. And so, yeah, man, NXT is looking to become a better show week in and week out. And, I expect more from NXT because it's had a lot of time to progress and get better, since the days from the black and gold brand. But what would I rate this NXT? I would rate it a solid 6 out of 10. It wasn't the greatest show in the world. It was decent enough. Just decent matches all around. Good, good storyline developments taking place. And so that being said, this is Rational Wrestling Mark with a first-time NXT review. Stay tuned for more of these reviews next Wednesday morning. And with that being said, make sure you subscribe for more content, like, and share the video. I'm out, and peace.